You there?
Okay, go on.
Yeah, cool. Okay, hi then, and yeah, you're John Langridge, aren't you?
Hello,
we know
yes,
this. So, firstly, tell everyone a bit about yourself first, if you could.
I'm a director, a writer-director. I just completed my first feature film, which is called Four. It was out at the cinema in October, and it's due for release on DVD on the 26th of March. It's a four-hander, it's called Four. It stars Sean Pertwee, Kirsten Waring, Martin Compston and Craig Conway.
Okay, cool. So you've been working with the Project Sense team this morning, haven't you?
Yeah.
How did you find that?
Really good. There's a lot of talent here, is the first thing I would say. I basically watched some of their work in progress, and they do quite. It's solely devised work, which that I saw, which was really good. There's some really interesting ideas. A couple of which I actually saw from inception. They basically had. They were given a sheet of questionnaires that I think the Project Sense had already done. Asked members of the public various questions on the questionnaire, to which they, in the space of about 10 minutes, devised the loose beginnings of a performance piece. And I was really impressed. It looked really good. I was just invited by the director, Dan, for my input into a few ideas and how I would what I do with the final finished performance. But yeah, I thought it was really good. What they'd come up with was really good, really interesting.
Cool. So your next project, I was talking about a bit earlier anyway, it's going to be filmed in South Wales,
That's
isn't it?
Yes, Kingdom of Rain. It's a thriller set in South Wales and a remote farming community. We already have an attached cast of a couple of very talented Welsh actors. Kimberly Nixon, who is currently in Fresh Meat, the comedy show Fresh Meat, and Julian Lewis-Jones, who was in Clint Eastwood's Invictus. They're both also in Elfie Hopkins, which has been recently filmed, I think, in Cardiff. So yeah, they're both in that. They're going to be playing characters Keris and Ivor, respectively. At the moment, we are scouting around for the last little bits of funding, and the plan is to shoot it in Nantymoel. I think I've pronounced that right. Apologies if I haven't.
I wouldn't know.
The idea is to film it possibly in May, but again, it depends upon getting the last little bits of funding together. And we are talking to a couple of big-name actors for a couple of the roles. I can't say anything more.
Can't say anything.
And which actors they are, but we're quite excited as to the names that we're talking to at the moment. So yeah, it's all coming together nicely.
That sounds really cool. So are you thinking of having anything, or because it's so local based, are you thinking of getting people? What about, would you say, have people from Project Sense there, extras or?
The sort of people that I've met over the. I've only been here for a day, and I've already seen so many talented people. And what we'd love to do is to get as many people locally involved in the project as we possibly can. Not only would they have local knowledge, but it just seemed, would seem a bit silly to bring a group, to bring a whole raft of crew members from London when there is so much talent down here already.
It sounds silly, but a lot of people would do that anyway. They go, "Oh, I trust my team," and
well, that's the thing. I mean, the thing about, I suppose, filmmaking is you do have your heads of department that you do trust and that you do have a shorthand with. But on the back of that, there is also a lot of space for bringing, attaching talented people to various departments to shadow. For example, if there's a camera student interested in interesting shadowing the DP, well then why not? Then have those two people working together, sharing the knowledge of the industry, and also there's a two-way there in the local. Somebody with local knowledge would have an idea of how best to use the environment, what's a good location, for example, I'm just thinking off the top of my head, but it's using the skills and the talents, but also the local knowledge is very, very important and something that should be, you know, that's something that should be encouraged, especially if it's a big. I mean, it's not a big production. I shouldn't say it's not. It's not going. You know, there's not going to be like tons and tons of trailers coming in. It is still a small budget, low budget British film, but you know, but why not share that? You know, the funding with the local area. Share the advantage with the local area into which you're filming. It seems to me to be a very, you know, a simple choice, really.
Cool. Something interesting you said there was the whole idea of skills sharing as well. It's something which Project Sense is quite keen on promoting, because there's lots of different departments which we've got involved which haven't worked previously together, like the music technology, the video, the performing arts, the technical theatre students, which some of them haven't traditionally worked together, which is, in some respects, what gave Lucy the original idea. So, what would you say about that? It's probably
you have to really, you have to get everybody working together. I mean, at the end of the day, in this environment, in an environment such as a university, with the skills that you have and the specialisations that people have, you pretty much have a film crew and a cast there. There's no reason why the technical side, the writers and the directors, I don't know if you have writers, but directors and technicians and cameramen can all not get together with the acting students and make a feature film. Why not? With the cameras from the university. I mean, that for me would be the ideal choice. You just film it locally. You'd get together. You'd write a local. I mean, this is what I would do. Is you'd write a local story, maybe get something based in the area, a film made of what you have, and you would get the camera side to film it and the local actors to act in it within the university and make a film. There we are. Integration is the way forward, and from that you would get. The actors will get a show reel, the video, the camera and video students would get, a show reel. So, that strikes me as being like a no-brainer, really. Yeah, you've got everything you need to make a feature film right here.
Right here on our doorstep.
Yeah, there you go. Let's make this.
At Swansea Metropolitan University.
Well, yeah. If we're talking about financial models and the step forward to do, seeing what the financial, a financial model for turning what is an artistic endeavour into a commercial success. You have the raw materials here. Why go to London? There's no reason to do that. And in actual fact, going to London without having completed some work, you'd end up starting again from scratch, but you wouldn't have anything to present yourself. Yeah. I'm really a believer in just getting on with it. Really seriously. I mean, I was reading something from Elliot Grove, he's based in London. I think he's a Canadian, but he runs something called Rain Dance, which is the London Independent Film Awards, as well as workshops. And he also there's also literature you can buy of his books and things. And one of the things that he says, which has really stayed with me, is that your first film is the film that you can make in the next 3 months.
That's great.
So, with everything that you have around you, with the skills that you have and the people that you have, you will start shooting a feature film in 3 months' time. And you just gather everything around you. You write a film set in the local area. I mean, this is absolutely. Out the window here, it's absolutely beautiful scenery.
So we can see out the window for everyone else. It's quite beautiful.
There you are.
It doesn't look so good out on the camera,
but yeah, I mean, you there we are. You write a story set right here, and you film it with the cameras that you have to hand in the university. And you get the acting students, so you write stories and characters based around the actors that you have, or maybe get the actors to devise something, which then you can then use as the basis for a 90-minute feature film. If that's the way you want to go, or you do an art installation you know, maybe a video installation or something. But it's not, you know, learn, then go and do. One thing should come right out of the other. And you should, I just think, you know, especially now, especially the way the technology is going, you can shoot a feature film on a Canon 5D, and that's what everybody does. There's no like, you know, I've got to get everything I need together, and when I get a 35mm camera, or when you get a 16mm camera with all the stock and the costs and all of that stuff, that's going now. That's totally gone. Even the best cinematographers are now moving to digital. Roger Deakins, for example, he was asked recently about the new James Bond film, Skyfall, I think it's called. There is a saying in the industry that when James Bond is filmed on digital, that's the end of film. And he was asked recently, you know, obviously you're going to be shooting Skyfall on 35mm. He said, no, I'm going to shoot it with the Arri Alexa, I think. But he's not shooting with film. All the film manufacturers have stopped, you know, all the camera manufacturers have stopped making, you know, cine films, cine cameras now. It's all going to be digital, and now there's going to be, or there should be, an explosion in experimentation, an explosion in people just grabbing a camera, grabbing a microphone, grabbing some mates, and making a feature film. And
so you reckon I can go and make my feature film on this little flip camera I'm using this interview for?
No.
I don't think it's going to be very good.
It's all about the lens, and that's got a really small lens. So
it's a little bit smaller. I think it's a little bit limited.
But no, you can shoot a feature film on a 5D. We shot 4 on a red one, 4K, I think, 4K sensor. But as I said, there's nothing to stop you making a film now.
Okay, that's fab.
Okay,
That's brilliant end quote. We'll finish it there then. Thanks very much, John.